Why is buying a business getting so competitive and what can I do about it? It's a question I actually heard recently at a recent party where I ran into a friend of mine. Now, he had sold his company a few years ago to a private equity firm, and he's still working there. Does he want to be? No. He wants to buy a business, but he didn't actually make enough off the sale where he can hang it up. Plus, he's got 10 good years left to build, at least before he's ready to be done. Problem is, he doesn't want to start from scratch, and he has been struggling to find a business to buy. He's actually looked at several more deeply, and in each case, he's run into competition. So businesses that were supposed to sell for 3 to 4x, depending on whose book you read, are getting bid up to 6x. And he asked me if I thought, based on what we do at Guidant, if more people were trying to buy businesses right now. And I told him the truth is there probably are, at least based on what we're seeing in our numbers relative to 5 to 10 years ago. There's a lot of rightful hype around this idea of buying an existing business because if you can find a good one, it's much lower risk than doing a startup or even opening a new franchise. And you know it's a better bet because banks are much more willing to lend on those existing businesses. There's also a lot of hype out there right now about the silver tsunami. I don't know if any of you have heard of that. It's essentially this idea that there are baby boomer business owners ready to retire and sell their businesses. And while that's probably true, there's also more going on that you don't see. And my friend actually experienced this directly because in that business that he had sold last year, 8 of their customers also sold their businesses. And 7 of those 8 sold up to a larger company or a private equity firm. And it makes sense why, because these larger companies and private equity firms pay more. And it's because those larger companies trade for higher multiples. And if they're able to sell their company or the value of their company at 10x their profitability, then they can afford to pay 6x for a company that they can roll into that business to drive their revenue up. In fact, there are a bunch of private equity companies out there that just do that. They are just out there to roll up these smaller companies and take advantage of this valuation arbitrage, where they roll a bunch of these up, they build some economies of scale, and then they sell them for a much higher multiple. Now, you may be asking, well, what do I do with that all, Jeremy? You're just depressing me about the ability to find a business to buy. And that's fair. I will tell you, though, because we've helped more than 30,000 people become business owners over the last 22 years, I've had a chance to talk with a lot of people about their journeys, both people who have successfully found a business and many aspiring owners that didn't. And there's one thing I've seen that separates those who end up finding a business, and it's really, really simple. It's commitment. Now, I'm not talking about commitment to a specific business or even the idea that they're going to buy one come hell or high water. I am talking about a commitment of time. Because the reality is, if you aren't conducting your business search as if it's your part-time job, then your chances of finding the right business are probably low. If you're just searching what's available online, you're maybe seeing 10% of what could be had by the right buyer. And much of that is the bottom of the barrel. These are people trying to escape businesses that either aren't working or are burning them out. So instead of continuing to depress you, let me actually give you 3 ideas of proactive ways to think about finding a business. Now, the first idea here is I want you to think and look for businesses that aren't part of industries that are ripe for roll-ups by other companies. Because while it may be sexy to buy a plumbing or an HVAC business right now, those businesses can usually sell to larger companies that are going to offer a premium. But highly personalized, relationship-driven services, or maybe owner-dependent sales businesses that don't have that leverage built into their model yet, not so much. What about hyper-local or location-bound businesses that are hard to scale geographically? In fact, you could probably put a prompt into ChatGPT and just ask it, what kind of businesses and industries are not ripe for roll-ups by larger companies and private equity firms? You probably get a lot of different ideas. And you can look at that and say, based on my mix of skills and experience, are there some of these potential businesses that I could do well with? Are there some that exist in the markets that I'm willing to be in? The second idea here I'll give you is to explore strategies that get you in front of more business owners. One idea of how you could do this is go start a podcast. Have this podcast be about interviewing local business owners. You'd be providing them exposure by giving some marketing fuel for their business. But more importantly, you'd be able to develop a relationship with these people. And business owners typically know lots of other business owners. And there's lots of ideas for how to get in front of these people. You could also join a local group. That's a good population of business owners, like the Chamber of Commerce. You can go talk literally to all the owners of the places you love and frequent. And that's true even if you don't want to buy a coffee shop or you don't want to buy a dry cleaners. Again, business owners usually know lots of other business owners. So the more business owners you can get in front of and that can know that you're looking for a business and what kind of business you're looking for, the better your chances of finding the thing that you're looking for are going to be there. The third idea I'll give you, oh, actually, before I get to the third idea, let me tell you one more thing about this. There are lots of businesses out there where their primary customer are small business owners. And so a lot of their strategy is figuring out how to get in front of small business owners. I'm guessing you could go find 100 videos on YouTube of people that are talking about strategies to get in front of small business owners. Go watch 20 of those videos. Find the strategies that are going to work for you and your personality to get in front of people, and then find a way to add value to them. And again, to let them know that you're buying a business. In fact, you may want to go old school and figure out, how am I going to stay in these people's minds? You may give them a business card, or there's actually a brilliant idea I heard from a business broker, Clint Fiore, at a conference that I went to. He said the best idea he's ever heard is somebody who bought $100 gift cards for each of the people that actually took the time to meet with them. And he said, the reason this is so brilliant is because you can't spend a $100 gift card at a coffee shop in one fell swoop. So this person has to think of you 10 times, 15 times. Every time they're going to the coffee shop, they're running that card, they're thinking of you, and it's another opportunity to leverage that power of reciprocity. So I thought that idea was brilliant. The third big idea I want you to think about is to invest your time in relationships. And what I mean by that is make sure everyone that you know knows you're looking for a business. This is your part-time job after all. So not just meet as many business owners as you can, but go meet as many business brokers as you can, and let everyone you meet and everyone already in your network know. Your family should know. The guy who cuts your hair should know. Your nosy neighbors should know that you are looking for a business and what kind of business you're looking for. Because the reality is, many business owners would sell their business right now if the right buyer came along. But for many of them, the idea of trying to go out to market is overwhelming while also running their business. So be the person that's top of mind when someone's having a conversation, someone's having a bad day, and they're thinking about maybe getting out of their business, or somebody runs into a health issue. That's a very common one that I see where business ownership transfers take place. So that's it. Commit like it's your part-time job. Invest in relationships. Everyone you know should know what you're looking for. Get in front of as many business owners as possible. They know other business owners, and you want all the business owners to know you and what you're looking for. And then look at the true unsexy, boring businesses, because the ones that people say are boring and unsexy are no longer unsexy and boring. Go after the kind that PE firms and larger companies don't want to buy, or at least don't want to buy yet. Now, one of my favorite Dan Sullivan quotes, you can be 100% committed with 10% of your time. So get clear on what amount of time you can consistently invest searching for a business, and then go to work. If you treat your business search like it is your business, if you're willing to do that consistently and over a significant period of time, I'm talking 12 plus months, you are likely to be one of those people who's going to become a business owner. And if you got any great ideas that you've seen used to get in front of small business owners, please share in the comments for everyone to read. I'll see you next time. Cheers.